I will be talking about framing, lighting, and focus for this photograph. Now it appears to me that the edges of the photograph are primarily dictated by the upper bodies of the subjects. When you look at both of the subjects, you can see that this end of the man is at this edge of the frame. You can also see that this end of the woman is at this edge of the frame. So it appears to me that the photographer actively framed this photograph so the subjects that he was photographing would take up mostly all of the photograph space. Now when looking at the background, there is not that much there, but you can make out right here a door, and I assume it is a door just by the shape and also because right here it looks like a doorknob. So the subjects could be in a room that could be excluding many things like furniture, or it could also be excluding a window, because right here the woman has light and the window might be providing that light which is illuminating the side. And maybe also right here there could be a window right there that they're looking out of. I would say that this is an asymmetrical balance because the photograph has balance, but one half of the photograph would not match the other half. Both of the subjects fill up their sides of the photograph, even though the photograph appears to be heavier on the left. Now it appears to me that the light is diffused because it seems to be coming from two sources. One source coming from this, one coming from this direction, and another coming from here. You got one coming from the side hitting the side of this woman, and one on this side hitting the front of the two subjects. The light gives the less focused spots of the subject a much warmer glow, but it also gives the sharper parts of their body more detail. Because right here you can see like the part of the man that's in the shadows. You can barely make out what the texture of his clothes looks like. But when you look at the light in parts of them, you can see like the textures and like the lines that are on his clothing. Now the hands of the subjects right here are very bright, illuminated by the light, which could draw the attention to the faces right here. So it just pulls you right to them. But since the light illuminates the much blurrier parts of the photograph, and the lack of light, the shadows, takes up most of the more focused parts, we sort of have a competition for the attention of the viewer's eyes. Now the background of the photograph and part of the foreground of the photograph are much blurrier than the middle ground right here, which is the faces of the subjects. The plane of focus appears to me to be the faces of the subjects and some parts of their chest, due to the fact that you can make out more detail of their face and of their clothes versus the much less detailed, blurrier parts of them. So I would say that the depth of field is very shallow and is meant to bring more sharpness of the subject's faces and less focus of everything else. The focus of the photograph is most likely the faces, which are sharper and lack the light than the rest of the photograph, because they contrast with the rest of the photograph, which is much more blurry and has more light, so you're probably more likely to be drawn to it. Also because of the illuminated hands and right here, so it kind of pulls your attention to it. So this is the focus of the photograph.